So Sean Ashby is the founder of Australia's biggest fashion export. Now, I'm sure all of us have been on a bus behind an Aussie bum. And Aussie Bum exports 15,000 units a week. Imagine that, that's a lot of undies. So Sean, can you tell us a little bit about where Aussie Bum came from?
It was really simple. 2001, I was unemployed. I'd worked in like everyone, wanting a career, wanting to aspire into the big blue chip company so I could go out and show my business card to my friend and be more important than them and wear the right shirt and all that. And then I realised that it wasn't what reality really was. It was all so superficial and so political. So I stupidly left and I decided to become a personal trainer, which was good. And then I realised that my calling was marketing, so I tried to get back into the industry that I was in, and that was when the music industry collapsed. So I was redundant. There was no work for me, and I was going to end up in Coles or Myers or somewhere like that. And myself and my mate Guyon, we used to go to the beach because I didn't have any money, so you don't spend money at the beach. So I went there all the time, and I used to wear the nylon-style swimwear, which is what Speedos used to make before it got sold overseas. And nylon is a fabric that doesn't have lycra, so you don't look like a girl, basically. You look like a man. And you also look like you're a surf lifesaver, but you're not really. And so one summer, 2001, sitting on the beach, I was down to my last $20,000, because the great Australian dream, buy a home, bullshit. And so realised that nobody else was going to give me a job and that I had to create my own. And I was really peeved off that I couldn't buy the swimwear because it was all a look thing. I was a personal trainer, you know, I had it all going on. And I was gay, so it was pretty obvious, really. So I took that money and found the fabric, found the makers, everything. And then I also had lots of other people along the way. And then, lo and behold, we'll fast track it now from Kylie Minogue to names, blah, blah, blahs, and Selfridges, Harvey Nichols, House of Fraser, Carter V, oh, here it comes. You name it. We actually retail in more of the most prestigious department stores around the world than any other Australian brand, which is an absolute terrible, terrible thing to be happening. Same as we are one of the biggest exporters to the world. What a joke. Like, seriously. Come on. And that, very disappointing. So, from there... But from there, we've won it. We've won, you know, the Australian Exporter of the Year award twice for manufacturing. We do everything in-house. We basically go after breadcrumbs. We don't go after big things. Last year, we turned over 23 million. We grew by about 40%, Gaia, during the global financial crisis, and when bonds had to go overseas because they weren't making money, and all of you bastards weren't prepared to pay the money that, you know, they wanted. So for us, we basically had very strong values, very strong beliefs. We are more of a creative company. Making the underwear and swimwear allows us to live the lifestyle that we've become accustomed to. It allows us to have a voice, but also to have one that's very uniquely Australian. It's a little bit like Madonna in the early days. Remember when she came out and the parents? What an embarrassment. What a joke. All of those things, you know, who is she? Lady Gaga is probably even more relevant today. You all love her, don't you? Come on. So we were a little bit like that. And so 9 years ago, next year, 10 years for the brand. Amazing. We have evolved, but we've also become the trendsetter, the brand that people stop and listen to because we choose not to do things the way people say it should be done. We don't do trade shows, we don't do the big glahs and all that. We go out back to Queensland and do photo shoots and make absolute idiots of ourselves, and we share that with the world.
So just you know, speaking of those photo shoots, I want to show people, just in case they haven't seen it.
Here.
I mean, you would remember this.
parties.
Nice, isn't it?
So we're just going to objectify men for the next 10 minutes. I hope no one has any problems with that. But
We have got the women's range in our back pocket when we do go bankrupt. But why bring it out when you're having so much fun? You've got to touch breasts and it's gay. Not going to happen.
so what I find really, well, one of the things I find really interesting about Aussiebum is everyone told you why it wasn't going to work. You haven't followed any of the rules at all. You don't stock in any major retailers in Australia.
Because I hate them.
Yes.
They-
So let's talk about that.
They basically, when I sold them to all our mates and that, I then got in my Ford sedan and drove down what's the road guy on? Great Ocean Road. Idiotly, I went to every surf shop to sell swimwear. Didn't know. And it was the most humiliating, embarrassing thing I've ever had to do. And the department stores, you know, they said, look, you're never going to compete against these major brands. Who are you? You're Australian, you know, get over it. And I have to give them the respect that they don't deserve, and that is that welcome to the real world. And so it's a case of you either got to make something of yourself and make yourself a commodity, and don't whinge and bitch about how, you know, you haven't been given a chance. But they gave myself and others who are part of Aussiebum our biggest chip on our shoulder. And that was when the decision made was to go to the world to sell the brand. 2001 was when that, and then thankfully, God love Kylie, gay, she gave us our first big break.
So, and this is the slow video. Does everyone remember this video where everyone's kind of writhing by the side of a pool? All of the men in that clip are clad in Aussiebum.
Yeah, we got a call because the business started in a kitchen and then it moved kitchen into the lounge room into the dining room, and even where we are today, the original business is just around the corner and I live just around the other corner. But it's very much a lifestyle. I think if you're going to do something, and you can't lose that passion. A person once said to me in the early years, he said, I don't care what you do, you know, you're going to run out of steam, you'll lose interest, you know, you'll sell it off. And basically, companies like ours, that's what happens to people like you. And he was right, very right, because the minute that you lose that passion and that idea of what you think life is about, that's when you do become another statistic. So.